I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany. You can imagine what a bitter blow it is to me that all my long struggle to win peace has failed. Yet I cannot believe that there is anything more, anything different that I could have done, and that would have been more successful. Up to the very last, it would have been quite possible to have arranged a peaceful and honorable settlement between Germany and Poland. But Hitler would not have it. He had evidently made up his mind to attack Poland whatever happened. And although he now says he put forward reasonable proposals which were rejected by the Poles, that is not a true statement. The proposals were never shown to the Poles, nor to us. And though they were announced in the German broadcast on Thursday night, Hitler did not wait to hear comments on them, nor did his troops to cross the Polish frontier the next morning. His action shows him thinking that there is no chance of expecting that this man will ever give up his practice of using force to gain his will. He can only be stopped by force. And we in France are today, in fulfillment of our obligations, going to the aid of Poland, who is so bravely resisting this wicked and unprovoked attack upon her people. We have a clear conscience. We have done all that any country could do to establish peace. A situation in which no word given by Germany's ruler could be trusted, and no people or country could feel itself safe, can become intolerable. And now that we have resolved to finish it, I know that you will all play your part.
от настроения мирного строительства, вполне понятно, что в военное время, но пагубно в настоящее время, когда война коренным образом изменила положение. Как жест этот неумолим, он ставит своей целью охват наших земель, перейти к нашим токам, охват нашего хранящей нефти, похоть их нашим трудом. Он ставит своей целью восстановление власти помещиков, восстановление царизма, разрушение национальной культуры и национальной государственности русских, украинцев, белорусов, литовцев, латышей, эстонцев, узбеков, татар, молдаван, грузин, армян, азербайджанцев и других союзных Советского Союза. Их аннулирование, их превращение в рабов немецких князей и баронов. И наведем таким образом о жизни и смерти советского государства, о жизни и смерти народа СССР, о том, быть народом Советского Союза свободным или даст порабощение. Нужно, чтобы советские люди поняли это, перестали быть беззаботными, чтобы они могли себя и перестроили свою работу на новый военный лад, не знающий пощады врагов. Необходимо войне, чтобы в наших рядах не было места нытикам и трусам, паникерам и дезертирам, чтобы наши люди не знали страха в борьбе, самоотверженно шли на нашу отечественную освободительную войну против фашистских проводителей. Великий Ленин, создавший наше государство, говорил, что основным качеством советских людей должно быть храбрость, отвага, незнание страха в борьбе, готовность биться вместе с народом против врагов нашей Родины. Необходимо, чтобы это великолепное качество большевика стало достоянием миллионов и миллионов Красной Армии, нашего Красного флота и всех народов Советского Союза. Мы должны немедленно перестроить всю нашу работу на военный лад, все подчинить интересам фронта и задачам организации разгрома врага. Народы Советского Союза видят теперь, что германский фашизм неукротим в своей бешеной злобе и ненависти к нашей Родине, обеспечившей всем трудящимся свободный труд и благосостояние. Народы Советского Союза должны подняться на защиту своих прав, своей земли против врага. Красная армия, Красный флот и все граждане Советского Союза должны отстаивать каждую пять советской земли. Драться до последней капли крови за наши города и села, проявлять смелость, инициативную смелку, свойственные нашему народу. Мы должны организовать всестороннюю помощь Красной Армии, обеспечить усиленное пополнение ее рядов, обеспечить ее снабжение всем необходимым, организовать быстрое продвижение транспортов с войсками и военным грузом, широкую помощь раненым. Мы должны укрепить тыл Красной Армии, подчинить интересам этого дела всю свою работу, обеспечить усиленную работу всех предприятий, производить больше винтовок, пулеметов, орудий, патронов, снарядов, самолетов, организовать охрану заводов, электростанций, телефонные и телеграфные связи, наладить местную противовоздушную оборону. Мы должны организовать беспощадную борьбу со всякими дезорганизаторами цела, дезертирами, паникерами, распространителями слухов, уничтожать шпионов, диверсантов, вражеских парашютистов, оказывая во всем этом быстрое содействие нашим истребительным батальонам. Нужно иметь в виду, что враг коварен, хитер, опытный в обмане и распространении ложных слухов.
Mr. Speaker, on Friday evening last, I received His Majesty's commission to form a new administration. It was the evident wish and will of Parliament and the nation that this should be conceived on the broadest possible basis, and that it should include all parties, both those who supported the late government and also the parties of the opposition. I have completed the most important part of this task. A war cabinet has been formed of 5 members, representing with the Liberal opposition the unity of the nation. The 3 party leaders have agreed to serve either in the war cabinet or in high executive office. The 3 fighting services have been filled. It was necessary that this should be done in one single day, on account of the extreme urgency and rigor of events. A number of other key petitions were filled yesterday, and I am submitting a further list to His Majesty tonight. I hope to complete the appointment of the principal ministers during tomorrow. The appointment of the other ministers usually takes a little longer, but I trust that when Parliament meets again, this part of my task will be completed, and that the administration will be complete in all respects. Sir, I considered it in the public interest to suggest that the House should be summoned to meet today. Mr. Speaker agreed and took the necessary steps in accordance with the powers conferred upon him by the resolution of the House. At the end of the proceedings today, the adjournment of the House will be proposed until Tuesday, the 21st of May, with, of course, provision for earlier meeting if need be. The business to be considered during that week will be notified to members at the earliest opportunity. I now invite the House, by the resolution which stands in my name, to record its approval of the steps taken and to declare its confidence in the new government. Sir, to form an administration of this scale and complexity is a serious undertaking in itself. But it must be remembered that we are in the preliminary stage of one of the greatest battles in history, that we are in action at many points in Norway and in Holland, that we have to be prepared in the Mediterranean, that the air battle is continuous, and that many preparations have to be made here at home. In this crisis, I hope I may be pardoned if I do not address the House at any length today. I hope that any of my friends and colleagues or former colleagues who are affected by the political reconstruction will make all allowances for any lack of ceremony with which it has been necessary to act. I would say to the House, as I said to those who have joined the government, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many, many long months of struggle and of suffering. You ask what is our policy? I will say it is to wage war by sea, land, and air, with all our might, with all the strength that God can give us, to wage war against a monstrous tyranny never surpassed in the dark and lamentable catalogue of human crime. That is our policy. You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word: victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory however long and hard the road may be. But without victory there is no survival. Let that be realized. No survival for the British Empire. No survival for all that the British Empire stood for. No survival for the urge and impulse of the ages that mankind will move forward towards its goal. But I take up my task with buoyancy and hope. I feel sure that our cause will not be suffered to fail among men. This time I feel entitled to claim the aid of women. And I say, come then, let us go forward together with our united strength. This was a great trial of strength between the British and German air forces. Can you conceive a greater objective for the Germans in the air than to make evacuation from these beaches impossible? And to sink all these ships which were displayed almost to the extent of thousands. Could there have been an objective of greater military importance and significance? For the whole purpose of the war was this. They tried hard, and they were beaten back. They were frustrated in their task. We got the army away, and they have paid fourfold for any losses which they have inflicted. Sir, when we consider how much greater would be our advantage in defending the air above this island against an overseas attack, I must say that I find in these facts a sure basis upon which practical and reassuring thoughts may rest. I will pay my tribute to these young airmen. The great French army was very largely, for the time being, cast back and disturbed by the onrush of 2,000 of armored vehicles. May it not also be that the cause of civilization itself will be defended by the skill and devotion of 2,000 airmen? There never has been, I suppose, in all the world, in all the history of war, such an opportunity for use. The Knights of the Round Table, the Crusaders, all fall back into the past. Not only distant, but prosaic. These young men going forth every morn to guard their native land and all that we stand for, holding in their hands these instruments of colossal and shattering power, of whom it may be said that every morn brought forth a noble chance, and every chance brought forth a noble night. Deserve our gratitude, yes, to all the brave men, in so many ways and on so many occasions, are ready and continue ready to give life and all for their. Mr. Speaker, the disastrous military events which have happened during the past fortnight have not come to me with any sense of surprise. Indeed, I indicated a fortnight ago that the worst possibilities were open. And I made it perfectly clear that whatever happened in France would make no difference to the resolve of Britain and the British Empire to fight on, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. I have thought it right upon this occasion to give the House and the country some indication of the solid, practical ground upon which we base our inflexible resolve to continue the war. There are a good many people who say, never mind, win or lose, sink or swim, better die than submit to tyranny, and such a tyranny. And I do not dissociate myself from them. But I can assure them that our professional advisors of the three services unitedly advise that we should carry on the war, and that there are good and reasonable hopes of final victory. We have fully informed and consulted all the self-governing dominions. These great communities, far beyond the ocean, who have been built up on our laws and on our civilization, and who are absolutely free to choose their course, but are absolutely devoted to the ancient motherland, and who feel themselves inspired by the same emotions which lead me to stake our all upon duty and honor. We do not yet know what will happen in France, or whether the French resistance will be prolonged, both in France and in the French Empire of its east. The French government will be throwing away great opportunities and casting adrift their future if they do not continue the war in accordance with their treaty obligation, from which we have not felt able to release them. The House will have read the historic declaration in which it is the desire of many Frenchmen and of our own hearts, we have proclaimed our willingness at the darkest hour in French history to conclude a union of common citizenship in this struggle. However matters may go in France or with the French government or other French governments, we in this island and in the British Empire will never lose our sense of comradeship with the French people. If we are now called upon to endure what they have been suffering, we shall emulate their courage. And if final victory rewards our toils, they shall share the gain. Aye, and freedom shall be restored to all. We abate nothing of our just demand. Not one jot or tittle do we recede. Czechs, Poles, Norwegians, Dutch, Belgians have joined their causes to our own. All these shall be restored. What General Weygand calls the Battle of France is over. I expect that the Battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization. Upon it depends our own British life and the long continuity of our institutions and our empire. The whole fury and might of the enemy must very soon be turned on us. Hitler knows that he will have to break us in this island or lose the war. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be free, and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age, made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights